Hello, in this lesson we're going to learn how to make cherry baked cheesecake, so stay with me because we're going to learn how to make something delicious. Okay, so before we can begin making this delicious cheesecake, we're going to need a shopping list and some ingredients. For the short crust pastry, you're going to need 100 grams of unsalted butter, 50 grams of Castor sugar, 1 whole egg, 100 grams of plain flour, 1 gram of baking powder. And for the cheesecake filling, you're going to need 500 grams of cream cheese, 180 grams of Castor sugar, 2 whole eggs, 1 lemon, 60 grams of corn flour and 300 ml of cream. And to top it all off, 1 cup of cherries. Okay, so we're going to start off with some unsalted butter. So we're going to measure out 100 grams of unsalted butter. Now the reason why we use unsalted butter is that we don't want salt in the pastry. So it's very important to measure it out correctly. Next we're going to have Castor sugar, so measure out the Castor sugar. Castor sugar is a finer sugar. And what happens is it dissolves faster through when you're mixing the butter and the sugar together, so that's why there's a preference there around using the Castor sugar. So just measure that out there as well. Next is the plain flour, so measure out your plain flour and then add in the baking powder. So there, as you can see, all the ingredients are ready to go. So we've got your butter, Castor sugar, 1 egg, plain flour and baking powder. So next what we're going to do now is add the unsalted butter to a mixer. So I've got a paddle there, which is used to make pastries. So beat in the sugar and the butter together until it's dissolved. Just like so, not too fast, otherwise it'll all come out the sides. And then you can build up to it once it's mixed in a little bit with the sugar. You can increase the speed there. And then from time to time scrape down the sides of the bowls. That way you're making sure that you're picking up all the butter from the bottom of the bowl and it's mixing through evenly. Very important. Once that's mixed in, then we add the whole egg. Mix that in slowly. And then add in gradually the flour and the baking powder. Gradually mix that in on a low speed to begin with. So that way it doesn't all come out the sides. So just start off slowly and gradually add that in, like so. So as you can see there, I'm adding in the rest there, and then I'll just slowly beat that in. Now if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe to the channel. If there is anything specific that anyone would like for me to make, please let me know and note it in the comments below. So now, as you can see here, I've got some cling wrap and we spoon that out in the cling wrap, and what we're going to do here is allow it to rest in the fridge. So because we've been mixing the butter together, it's become quite soft and it's not workable, so we're going to let it rest and let it cool down, just like so. Just pop that one in the fridge. So after about 20 minutes to half an hour, you can bring it out of the fridge and then just dust it with some plain flour. It can be a little bit tricky rolling these out, but just take your time. If you need be, just have another go at it, but making sure it's dusted thoroughly underneath and on top to prevent it from sticking, like so. and I like to roll it from the inside out. I find that makes it a lot easier to work with. Sometimes you'll find it cracks on the outside and you can just squeeze that in and press it in. If you're really good, you can get it in one go and you don't have to try and mend it. So the next step, once that's rolled out, is to lift it up using the rolling pin. You want to roll it out so that way it's larger than the tin, so that way it covers the sides. So lift that up gently and just gently lower that out, making sure that you've got enough excess there on the sides there to roll it out. Well, sorry, to cover the sides there. So this is the tricky part, especially if the pastry is soft. So the next step is add the cream cheese and beat with the paddle. Start off quite slowly. I like to use the Philadelphia cream cheese, but any cream cheese is okay to use. So we just beat that in slowly. Again, very important to scrape down the sides so that way it's evenly beaded. You don't want any lumps, so it needs to be quite smooth. So just start off slowly and gradually build up to that. And as you can see there, the next step is to add the Castor sugar. And mix that well. So the Castor sugar just allows that to be mixed in or incorporated in or dissolved into the cheese faster. And just beat that in. Once it's beaten in a little bit, then you can increase the speed there slowly. And then from time to time scrape down the sides and the paddle there. And as you can see, they'll increase the speed there, and that'll make it nice and smooth and also get some air into that mixture. So once that beaten, the next step is to add the eggs. So I've cracked that into a cup. I like to crack it in a cup so that way if you get any shell in there you can always retrieve it. Start off on a slow speed and then beat that in. Next is the corn flour. So measure out your corn flour there. So we're going to put in 60 grams there today. So slowly beat that in with the paddle again. So mix through the corn flour there. Don't forget to scrape down the sides. And as you can see, it's a nice consistency, a very nice smooth consistency. That's what you're after. And no lumps. No one likes lumps. Right, so the next step there is to add the lemon zest. So I've just used a grater to zest that, but you can use other types of zesters. Nice and fine, so we'll just add that in there and we'll incorporate that into the mixture. So I'll give it a nice lemon flavour, complement the cheesecake. And just gradually add that in. And next we've got the chopped cherries. These have been pre-prepared. You can macerate these in amaretto if you like, which is alcoholic. Bear in mind that if you do put the amaretto in, it is alcoholic, so this is the version without the alcohol to give it more flavour, but the cherry on its own there will give it plenty of flavour. And the final step is to add the mix to the prepared base. Now as you can see, the base doesn't need to be perfect. If anything, if it's slightly odd shaped, gives it that rustic look. And I've prepared a preheated oven at 160 degrees. And as you can see, we have the finished product there.